Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here, and today we are going to look at Bill Pearl's unique deltoid program as well as his philosophy of training deltoids, which earned him wonderful shaped deltoids as seen in these wonderful photos. I love that with Bill Pearl, as well as most Golden Era bodybuilders, we see that the deltoids were not overdeveloped and gave the physique a statuesque look with that trademark powerful Herculean look too. In this video, I will not only explain his championship routine, but his recommendations for beginners and intermediates. Bill's method of training deltoids centered on heavy pressing, as he was always impressed with weightlifters' deltoid development, whom of course train the clean and jerk, the press and the snatch, however warns that only focusing on presses leads to lack of rear delt development, which is necessary for a balanced physique and also to avoid injury. During the height of his bodybuilding career, he would train them up to 3 days a week, but would also train them only twice a week, which would be suitable off-season and for gaining mass and strength. The meat and potatoes, though, of his delt training involved heavy pressing, as he was convinced that the only way to achieve thick deltoids was to train overhead presses as weightlifters did. This was, by the way, also the opinion of Reg Park. Here is Bill Pearl's contest delt training routine. He would train for 3 days a week, performing military presses for 5 sets of 5 reps, lateral raises for 5 sets of 8 reps, presses behind the neck for 5 sets of 5 reps, and rear deltoid raises for 5 sets of 8 reps. Bill's unique method of training delts involved a similar training style to Reg Park's 5x5, if you haven't noticed. Now I've made it very clear, in that he would typically work each deltoid exercise for 5 sets and 5 reps. He would train in this style for gaining overall mass and strength using pressing movements, but would increase the rep range to 8 reps specifically for lateral raises to focus on the development of the rear head. Bill believed that because the deltoid was a relatively small muscle like the biceps and pectorals, they would respond better to low rep ranges, while larger muscle groups like the legs and back responded to higher rep ranges. For this reason, he kept his rep ranges to 5 to 8 repetitions in all deltoid movements. In regards to weight selection, Bill would drop the weight when necessary as the sets progressed. His motto was to work the muscle at 80% intensity, as he believed this was the most important factor in stimulating muscle growth. That kind of echoes the teachings as well of Vince Gironda. To begin his deltoid workout, Bill would always recommend a warm-up and progressively increase the poundage used, specifically in presses. Whilst on lateral movements, he didn't use the progressive resistance system, as these type of movements do not require progressively increasing the weight with each set. Bill would train chest and legs along with shoulders, and on that note, Bill also stated that for those that wish to specialize on chest or in increasing their bench press total like a powerlifter would, then for every set of bench press he would advise the trainee to perform a set of rear deltoid work to balance out the shoulder work and avoid injury. For variety, Bill at times would substitute the lateral raises with upright rows, with the majority of his work still being presses. His trapezius, on the other hand, would be worked alongside with the rest of his back workout. For cuts and chiseling down in his delts, he would rely on diet, namely a meat and water diet, and not necessarily change his routine too much. To quote Bill Pearl, "If you're on a meat and water diet for 6 months, roughly speaking, and you don't get cuts, I don't think you're ever going to get them regardless of what you do with the weights." End quote. It is important to note that Bill Pearl did use anabolics during his career, namely Nilevar, cycling closer to competition, and therefore his championship deltoid routine, in which he would perform 20 sets for deltoids, is not necessarily recommended for natural lifters. Instead, for beginners, Bill recommended starting off with lateral raises. To quote Bill Pearl again, quote, "I don't start them with presses because of the injury problem. I would slant it toward upright rowing and incline laterals. I would constitute the pectoral exercise as part of the deltoid exercise. I would add lateral raises. As he went into the second and third programs I've set up for him, I would give him some kind of pressing movements. He'd use dumbbells instead of barbells. I'd work him in slowly, avoiding any chance for injury." End quote. For intermediate lifters, Bill would recommend only 3 sets on any exercise. Just to repeat again, Bill would not recommend 20 sets, not even for intermediates, let alone beginners, and was in the opinion that such a routine as his was strictly for competitive bodybuilders, training 2 to 3 hours a day for 6 days a week, and most likely on anabolics in preparation for competition. And on that note, Bill was in the opinion that to win a state competition at the time, such as the Mr. California, would take a minimum of 5 years, and a national competition such as the Mr. America, 8 to 10 years. This really should put into perspective the length that one should invest into bodybuilding. If you really think that after 1 year of training you are an intermediate or an advanced trainee, then you are kidding yourself. To develop a physique worthy of national recognition alone takes about 10 years, and one of international class even longer. Take it from Bill Pearl, 5-time Mr. Universe. So I do hope you have enjoyed this look at Bill Pearl's championship deltoid routine and his recommendation to both beginners and intermediates. If you have, then please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so, leave me your comments, and click the bell button to be notified of future videos. I also now offer online training, so head to www.goldenerabookham.com for more details. In summary, Bill's deltoid program was rather simple and involved the incorporation of heavy pressing and lateral movements. What do you think of Bill's deltoid program? Leave me your comments. Anyway, that's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. Help Vince's Secret Locker 3 become a reality. To give to the new fundraiser, click the link below where you can either donate or pre-order your book and get a free gift. Here is what you can expect from Carl Coyne's latest masterpiece on the Iron Guru, the greatest bodybuilding trainer that ever lived. Need a bodybuilding poster for your gym or office? Then check out Iron Man Magazine archive.smugmug.com for the highest quality posters on the planet. Scroll through the galleries of all the legends, including greats such as Arnold, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Tom Platz, and Larry Scott, and much, much more, and select your poster now. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Vince Gironda's approach to bodybuilding, his principles, and all these tips of wisdom that he has, I mean, there's so much stuff that probably hasn't been proven by science, and it will take science to prove or disprove Vince. But to be honest, these 3 books, I believe, which I call the Classic Physique Bundle, are the best books that Vince ever came out with. And they, of course, are the Wild Physique, the Master Series, and the Pro Series. Have a look at it this way. The Wild Physique, I believe, is like the ABCs of Vince Gironda's principles to bodybuilding. He teaches you the exercises and his principles, but how do you put them together? Well, the Master Series is a 14-month program of using all of these principles, all of the diets that Vince came out with, all of the exercises, and believe me, it's a brilliant, brilliant program. Many people have used it. I know personally a lot of bodybuilders that have actually used it and made fantastic results with it. And of course, the Pro Series was a book that he came out with later on, specially targeted for getting into competition. It's just these 3 books, as I call it, the Classic Physique Bundle, Vince's best work, and available, of course, at www.goldenerabookham.com. Now, the Pro Series of Bodybuilding, which was targeted for professional bodybuilders, contains 6 programs, each of which go for 2 months each. So it's a whole year, again, in preparation for competition. To support your favorite YouTube channel, please visit teespring.com/stores/goldenerabookworm for merchandise, including t-shirts, hoodies, face masks, phone cases, and much, much more. Once again, at teespring.com/stores/goldenerabookworm. To take full advantage of my collaborations, use code GEB20 with nspnutrition.com and vincegironda.com, as well as code bookworm12 at osl.com for a discount at checkout.